inside, moving in, not swinging wildly, but moving in behind good, tight hands, man. That's how you're going to challenge him. They move in behind good, tight hands. Don't try to get him long like you're doing here. And he'll catch you. Use your strength here. You got more strength.
Ruelas opening up with the wide shots here, leaving himself open as he follows Nelson. That time, he did not pay for it. This time, he did.
As we head into round two, excellent corner work by Joe Goosen, because he reminded him what it appeared the game plan was. To go in with your hands close, and get on the inside, and then use your strength to work to the body and head. Don't throw wild punches from the outside. He reminded Ruelas of what they really had planned to do against Nelson. In any case, Azumah Nelson, the two-time world champion, shows you at the age of 37, he's still got some pop in that right hand.
Well, the professor had himself a nice first round. We'll see what adjustments are made here.
And Ruelas is doing exactly what he did in the first round, the opposite of what Goosen told him. He's still throwing the wild shots on the outside.
He is seeing the opening out there and a little too anxious. When you jab, you are working for your opening. You're trying to create it. When you throw the bomb from outside, you're rolling the dice, trying to get it right now.
See, and he could work his way inside if he used those tight hands that Joe Goosen's talking about.
And then that hook would score as well. It would be shorter, it would be more compact, and it would be far more effective.
In any case, for Azumah Nelson, he could not have drawn up a first round or round and a half that would have gone as well as this one. Gabriel appearing tight, and that tightness contributed. There's the uppercut on the inside by Ruelas.
When a fighter gets in that kind of problem early the knockdown, the best thing is to try and start over, get the jab working, regroup. It's a long fight. You're 12 years younger. Figure that will play into it. But it hasn't been that way quite so in round two here for Ruelas.
Again, the wild punch. And Nelson is throwing very good counter punches. Even the ones that are missing are coming very, very close when Ruelas comes in lunging. Well, Rafael Ruelas not only lost to Oscar De La Hoya, but lost the subsequent fight. And so his career is not in the best of shape right now. And he is at ringside watching his brother, who's had a tough time here in this beginning stages of this fight against Azumah Nelson. We're in round two, about a half a minute left to go.
Nelson, in one sense, wants to load up and is waiting here, hoping that Ruelas opens up for him.
Good hook. Sends Ruelas back again. It's a very wild game, Ruelas, and shorter punching Azumah Nelson. There's the uppercut on the inside by Ruelas, but by and large, Azumah Nelson doing a good job of counterpunching. They better look out. The bell rang. Marty Denkin should be in there. I guess Marty didn't hear the...
He just made the indication that he's not hearing it.
He did not hear the bell, and there you see him. We're right next to the bell here. It is not that loud a bell, and the crowd was yelling, although we heard it pretty loud.
Nice boxing. But, you know, he tried to steal it right there. You won that round. He tried to steal it.
Nelson over the top, nice left hook, right hand, driving Ruelas back. Couple shots there, Ruelas missing wildly, but there he ducked. Then landed a left hook. Later he would get inside and land an uppercut, which is what he would like to do more of in this fight. Now there's Nelson with his best action of the round. Unloading here, waiting for a mistake to pounce on.
We're heading to round three, and I'll tell you there was some interesting byplay. Even as we were doing the replay, I looked up in the corner of Ruelas with his trainer, Joe Goosen. A very concerned look in the face of Ruelas. Joe asked him, do you feel better on the inside or the outside? And he was shaking his head. He couldn't figure out where he felt better. And that's part of the problem here. Gabriel Ruelas is really discombobulated in there. That knockdown, I think, in round one shocked him. I dare say, I think he's a little embarrassed about the start of this fight. And on top of that, he's not sure typically will work.
Well,
Except for that, everything's okay.
Basically, you hit on a couple of minor points that he'd like to adjust from.
Did I overstate the case, you think?
He wants to get the jab moving, but he is caught between styles, so he needs to first put a good minute together, then try to put a good round together, find what's comfortable. It's a long fight.
Or it can be anyway. We're in round 3. Gabriel in the white trunks, the WBC super featherweight champion. Azumah Nelson, the former WBC super featherweight champion. They fought once before. Ruelas tried to lift the title from Nelson, lost a 12-round decision in what was a very strategic, almost chess game-like match between the two.
Very little here in the jabbing department. Ruelas shows a little bit of it there. If he gets back to that, does more of that, it can open up a lot more for him.
Oscar De La Hoya, why do you think Ruelas is reluctant to do what Joe Goossen told him? Move in on the inside behind a good defense and then work on the inside.
Well, I believe a big mistake that Gabriel Ruelas is making. He's loading up on his punches too much. He should go into throwing slow, soft combinations, and he'll land more against Azumah Nelson. He wants to knock him out. He wants to go for that knockout, and he's missing a lot of shots and leaving himself wide open.
In other fights, though, we've seen him do that in the first couple rounds and then adjust a little bit and get back into what works for him. Let's see if he does it here.
The left hook misses. Now Nelson has been economic on his punches. There's a nice right hand that may have stunned Nelson.
And that was thrown from a big distance, too.
And let us remember Azumah Nelson, who is 37 years of age, could well be susceptible to some power punches by Ruelas. But the 18-month layoff, while it could have an effect, at the very least for Nelson, during these early rounds when he would be susceptible, he's had the good round.
In the beginning of a fight, it has served as a regrouping aspect for him. If it comes back to bite him, it will be later.
Nelson missing with some wild punches. And that will do it for the third round. So Gabriel comes out here for round 4 against Azumah Nelson. Ruelas is 12 years his junior at the age of 25, but Azumah Nelson likes to call himself the professor, and at times has been that to many, many fighters. He has faced the best in 2 weight divisions over the last 15 years, Azumah Nelson. Beat Wilfredo Gomez for a title. We said he lost to Salvador Sanchez along the way. Lost to Pernell Whitaker in an excellent boxing match. Has beaten Juan Laporte, Jeff Fennick, and others. And so he's been in against the best, beaten many of the best, and as we said, had championships in 2 weight divisions.
And to talk about some of the parity in this division, he's got a draw and a loss against James Leija. Ruelas with a win over Leija, so Ruelas should be on top, right?
I don't think so. And yet, no. Now Nelson moving him back and throwing good body punches.
Well, if he stays out of trouble, Ruelas really can succeed at wearing Nelson down. He needs to slow himself down first before he slows Nelson down.
There's the hook. He gets there, but it was so wide that he diminished some of the power of Gabriel. This is really, as from a technique standpoint, one of the poorest performances I've seen Gabriel give.
We've seen some other fights that he has started that way and quickly changed it, but to stay on the outside, fire shots from the outside for so long is not good. You get countered, you lose your power, and your balance.
And here's the irony. That's not to say he might not knock Azumah Nelson out sometime in this fight.
With a bomb.
He might land a bomb and knock him out. And look, he's getting to him, isn't he? But it still isn't a technical success. But he's getting a good round here against Nelson. And I guess maybe when you're 37 and you've been off for 18 months, you'll be susceptible to this.
Ruelas really getting through on him here. Now Nelson decides to gamble with him and fire some big shots.
Nelson's punches are losing a little bit of their steam, I believe, but look at the roundhouse rights by Ruelas. He's capable of so much more on the inside if he would work properly.
Now, we don't usually see him this awkward for this long.
Oscar, are you surprised that Ruelas is... Oh, wow!